All right, welcome to Talk-Jitsu with host Uki Mike, Joey Boretski, and me, Jordan Preisinger from Jordan Teaches Jiujitsu. We have a great episode for you guys today, and let's just get very started. First off, people were wondering, Joey, why you hate the Gracies, so let's just start off with a bang. Well, Rener Gracie specifically, or do you just hate all the Gracies?
I don't think I hate them all. That would be like, there's a lot of Gracies, so
Yeah.
I think hating them all would be a little ridiculous. I'm sure there's some great ones, but Rener Gracie in particular, to me, just he's like the used car salesman of jiu-jitsu. Like, this guy would take a wheel off a car and try and sell it to you as a tricycle. Like, the dude will sell anything he can get his hands on. Doesn't care if it's good jiu-jitsu or building the sport. As long as it makes the guy money, he's happy about it. I mean, anyone who's giving out blue belts online to people who train in their garage and never roll, like, that to me is, it destroys the integrity of the sport and what the belts are meant to mean. I think it's I think it's malpractice for building the sport. I'm sure it makes him nice and rich, and that's great. He can, live in his mansion and feel great about himself that he's made all this money, but I don't think it's helping the sport. I think he actively hurts the sport personally, and all the things he said in the lawsuit that came up recently that I won't dredge back up. I don't think he has jiu-jitsu's future in mind. I think he has Rener Gracie's future in mind.
Yeah, I mean, he did come up with a really cool sweater. It turns into a backpack. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I have seen that, yes.
I mean, that's a pretty cool innovation for jiu-jitsu. That's pretty impactful.
Yeah.
It's handy, but
it affects us all.
Yeah, exactly. No, I can see what you mean for sure. I guess I'll kind of rebuttal your argument. Is just like, he does provide some resources for people. He teaches some jiu-jitsu on YouTube, and I think some people kind of like the culture of like just the way he kind of is, I guess. Not everyone. So some people definitely benefit and enjoy his thing. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Joey, where like I can kind of see where his like priorities kind of lie, and it's definitely money. So yeah, I can see what you mean there. And yeah, but like I also think that what you're saying about him kind of like, it's not what the belts are supposed to mean, and kind of takes away from them. But I think just in general in jiu-jitsu, like the belts don't mean what they used to, and that's not necessarily like a terribly bad thing. It's just like, I remember back in the day, you'd roll with a black belt and like they would be very good. They'd be very good at jiu-jitsu, where it's like now you can roll the black belt. Like, I can roll the black belt. I'm not sure what I'm going to get. I could get like a good roll. I could get like someone where they feel like a blue belt to me. And it's not like, saying I'm so great. It's like, what I'm saying is like the level of black belts and all belts, you just don't know what you're going to get when you roll with them. And it wasn't quite like that before, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago when I first started training. I don't know. Have you noticed that too, Joey? Like, it's just like, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Oh yeah. There's definitely a problem with like the standard going down. I mean, it used to be like, I know like when we started, if you rolled with a purple belt, that dude was good. Like, you didn't get a purple belt for being bad. Like, you didn't get it for just showing up to classes. And that's one of my issues with like the Gracie University and some other Gracie gyms that I've legally not allowed to publicly slander, is you literally get stripes and belts for just showing up to classes. You'll get a little card that has a list of techniques. Every time you do a class on that technique, you get a check mark. Once you've check marked enough techniques, you just get a stripe. That's all there is to it. You showed up to the class, you get your stripe. And then on belt testing day, there's a fee. You do your belt test, and I've heard that some gyms, especially in the Edmonton area, that fee is upwards of $300. You do your test, you get your belt. That's it. Never have to roll, never have to earn it. You show up, get your little check marks on your boxes that say you showed up that day, pay your money on testing day, you get your belt.
Yeah, my beef was just the university part, the Gracie University part, where you could become a blue belt online. To me, that was such bullshit. I don't know if they even still do it, do they?
I don't think they do. Not like an actual blue belt. Now it's just like something different. Because I guess their uncle was kind of like pissed. I forget which Gracie it was, but he was pissed that they were doing that, so they stopped, which I think is good. But like, I think there's kind of like two kind of issues with the belt. Like, one, that it doesn't quite mean the same as it used to. But I think also another issue is that some people view the belts as like magic, where it's like, if you're a higher belt than the other person, you should not get tapped ever. It doesn't matter about the size or, athleticism, anything like that. It's like some people view it as like they just can't fathom that. Like for example, Nikki did a roll with Kieran on his channel, and she's a small brown belt, mom of 3, had twins. Her body isn't the same like it used to be. Like specifically, her abs aren't, like her core isn't nearly as strong, and people were surprised that that Kieran could do well against her, could kind of like control her and kind of beat her up a bit. But like Kieran is very technical himself, but he has a huge size and strength advantage. So. And it's funny, these people saying that, and I'm not like, saying, oh, Nikki feels really bad or I feel really bad. It's just more like my thoughts on it. So, like people saying that, like they would get smashed by someone 50 pounds heavier than them. And Kieran, he's 50 pounds heavier than her. So like people that like understand jiu-jitsu in context will understand that like, just because there's 2 belts apart, it doesn't quite make up for the size and the strength. But yeah, people just view it as magic so much. And then there's like, jiu-jitsu is not magic, and a belt does not doesn't give you magic. It's really something that frustrates me in jiu-jitsu. Like people like, you're only as good as your jiu-jitsu can only get you so far if there is such a size advantage. So that's something I wanted to ask you about, Joey, too, because, you are a smaller black belt. Like, do you ever struggle with like blue belts that are like 50 pounds heavier than you?
All the time, man. Like, it's not that I can't beat them, but it's that if I make mistakes, I think it's way more punishing for me than it would be for someone who's like an equal size with them. For instance, like if I'm rolling with like a 160-pound blue belt, I can take chances. I can make mistakes. I can give up side control mount to work my way out of them. But like I was rolling with one of my blue belts last night, actually. He's a bigger guy, like in the 250 range. And I was just messing around with him. He got side control, and he went for like that old school, like Josh Barnett, like headlock style thing from like Kesagatami. Man, my hand came up. I was ready to tap. I was like, this is brutal. That is a lot of pressure. I ended up weaseling my way out, but then I woke up this morning. I was like, man, my chest is sore. I was like, oh yeah, I had a 250-pound man squeezing the hell out of me. That explains a lot. It's not that. I think a lot of people look at small people like, and they wonder like, oh, would you struggle with blue belts? Like I beat big blue belts all the time. I don't think it's that it's harder to beat them. I think it's that it's much easier to be punished if you make a mistake or try and play around.
Yeah, I agree. Like, a big blue belt gets you in side control. You're not going to have any magic powers to get out. You still need to be technical and everything, but like, it's still going to be very difficult. It's still, you still have to use muscle, everything. And they have more muscle than you do. And I agree with you there. And when I asked you, I kind of figured that, that'd be the case, like, because, you are smaller and the reality of it, like, size matters so much. And like Mike, you're smaller too. Like do you feel bad if like a lower, well, I guess you're a blue belt, so like there's probably not a lot of like bigger white belts that can kind of like give you too much of a hard time. But if like one of our students is 300 pounds and he's a great roll, like I love rolling with him, but like I'd assume that smaller black belts or brown or blue or purple, like they will have a very hard time with them, and just the reality of grappling.
Oh yeah, when somebody's much bigger than me, especially if they're up around the 300 pound mark, I have a great deal of trouble rolling with them. I definitely try not to pull guard, and I try to be as aggressive and on top as possible. But if I get caught on bottom, yeah, it sucks, and it sucks for a long time. So I try to always tire somebody out if they're much heavier than me. I just do a lot of defense for maybe the first 4 minutes, and then once they get tired, then I'll start attacking. But yeah, I've definitely been tapped by white belts that are much bigger than me. I've been tapped by white belts same size and smaller than me. Everybody has a bad day or an off day. And like you said, jiu-jitsu isn't magic, right? It really depends on the athleticism of them and you and their age difference too. That plays a role. So I'm learning that I'm not, I don't have an ego in that way where if a white belt taps me, it bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a blue belt that comes to our gym to train, and I did a YouTube video with him, and he's 240 pounds or maybe 230, but he has like 50, 60 pounds on me. And, in the video, I did very well. Like I submitted him a couple times and everything. But when we're rolling for like normal, like I don't like do bad against him, but like it's very hard to get things going sometimes, where it's like I'll spend like minutes just in my guard trying to figure out a way to sweep him because he's so freaking heavy and so strong. And like, I know that like someone smaller than me or less skilled, if they're, their lower belt or whatever, they're gonna do not too good against him. And just reality of someone being bigger and stronger, and again, jiu-jitsu not being magic.
Do you find the techniques you use against larger people change from what you would do against someone like your own size or smaller?
To a certain extent, yes, because like I'll try less to submit from like my guard, because there's so much more consequence if things do go wrong. So, for example, like a triangle, if you don't get it on the person and they clear your leg, well, now you're in side control. And now, like you said, the consequences are so much worse against someone that's bigger. So, yeah, I'll definitely adjust my style. But at the same time, too, it's like, you know, it's like I'll use like a lot of butterfly sweeps against bigger guys. And it's harder to get them 100%, but like there's only so many sweeps you can do against these bigger dudes. A lot of them are harder, but that one is definitely hard. But yeah, it's like you just have to almost like be first. You need to like make sure that they don't have time to adjust their weight properly, don't have time to post out, and don't have time to defend. I think the most important thing to beat someone bigger is to be first. And that's like important rolling with anyone, but like so much more so with someone bigger. You need to like, yeah, dictate the action. So like, what do you do, Joey, against like bigger dudes?
I have a style that I think is also not well suited to beating bigger people. I like to take a lot of risks when I roll. I'm the guy who will roll back for triangles all the time and go for things like that that are extra punishing against big guys. So what I've kind of started doing to really deal with it is I play a lot of half guard. Um, I find half guard a lot better for me than an open or closed guard, just because I have the extra ability to put like the knee shield to make the frames to keep the head control away with my bottom arm. Like if I let guys get close to me who are big, like if I play a closed guard and they get down low, it's really hard for me to get them back off of me. So half guard for me is like an excellent tool for like range management. And I find, especially like I know you've made videos about the dog fight, I find that's a position that really works well for people who can move quickly. Like if you
Yeah.
can come up with that underhook quick, I find it really easy. And usually big guys can't match the speed. So that seems to be like the one thing that I really do well against big guys with.
Well, I think that, one thing you brought up is that like open guard, you don't play it as much against, bigger guys. And I think that it's another reason, which I think at least, is that like limb length matters so much with open guard. So for example, like, my De La Riva guard is like not amazing. Like I can retain my guard fine and transition to other guards, but like realistically, I don't have a lot of success attacking from De La Riva, just because like, like the inside leg needs to frame on their leg to keep them away. If they get past that leg and, into headquarters, well, now you're screwed. But my leg is only so long to frame with it. So, usually bigger guys, they're not just bigger, they're also have longer limbs, because they're just bigger in general, right? It's not like they just have big gut or anything like that. So yeah, I think that matters too. But it's also like a catch-22 as well, because when you're in your open guard, the person's further away from you, right? Because they're still standing, they're not on their knees. So like there's distance management there. But when you're in your half guard, they're closer, but you're also closer to them. And what matters so much to who's going to be in the better half guard position is the grips. So that's why it's so important to not let people grab your head or take an underhook. I mean, you only have two sides of your body, right? So like one side, you have to worry most about the underhook, and the other side, you need to worry most about the head controls. And then there's the near side underhook too, but like primarily like head is like priority, I guess you could say. So I think if people kind of, realize that, it's like, it makes things easier, because you don't need to worry about like 1,000 different things. It's just like, okay, I got two sides of my body. These are the grips they can take. Because the difference between a good half guard and a bad half guard, like smashed half guard and like knee shield or butterfly half guard, is like them having grips on you. The worst possible thing that could happen is they take a cross face and underhook in your half guard, they get chest to chest, and then you're just screwed. And yeah. So do you like playing like knee shield more, or do you like half guard butterfly more?
It really depends on the person. Like I have short little legs, so I do like using the butterfly. I usually start with a knee shield just to maintain the range, and then I can switch to the butterfly if I feel comfortable with it. Especially like I use the butterfly a lot when I feel like I can't get to the dogfight. Like the guy's really diligent about not letting me come out on that side, that's when I'll switch to the butterfly and try to use that hook as like an elevator.
Well, the butterfly is good too because you can also take an overhook instead of needing an underhook like you need for the dogfight, which can be an issue. Like it's hard to get an underhook, but it's not always hard to. Well, it's usually not hard to take an overhook because you can just bait them into, hey, here's a free underhook. But like as long as they don't control your head, that overhook is fine. If they grab your head with their underhook, then yeah, they're gonna flatten you out for sure. And I knew that you were gonna say butterfly half guard instead of knee shield, just because like I think anyone smaller or with short legs, like the best way to or the best positions are those where you hook people with your instep rather than like framing them away, because you know, people with short legs, they can get their legs in easier, they can lift them up easier, and they need to kind of rely on keeping people close. But like people with longer legs, they can keep people further away. So like yeah, like it matters so much. I also think that like objectively, I think that half guard butterfly is better than knee shield, like because you have more inside position, because like it's a grip on the inside where like, you know, your knee shield is a frame on the inside, and frames are primarily defensive. They're not only defensive, but they're primarily defensive. You need to take it out so you can get offensive, take your underhook. But like, you know, you already have inside position with a half guard butterfly. So yeah, but Mike, you like you like what's it called, lockdown, as
Love
opposed
it.
to
Yeah.
but do you play much knee shield or half guard butterfly?
I play mainly knee shield. Yeah. I try to pull them into my half guard, and then I'll try to lock them down and then play from there. But if I'm rolling a much bigger person, I was going to say earlier that if I'm aggressive, I can get them on their back first. I'll go for leg locks and toe holds and knee bars all day long, because I don't care how big the guy is. His joints are only so strong. His ankle can only take so much. His knee can only take so much pressure. And I'm usually quite a bit faster if the guy's 50, 60 pounds bigger than me.
Yeah, I find the same thing. Like, you know, against bigger dudes or stronger dudes, if I can get underneath their hips and start attacking the legs, even if I don't go for a leg lock, but just to create like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Just
get their
create
weight
an
off
opening.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, like Alex, he's like he's a I don't know, probably 200 pound. He's a brown belt, 200 pounds or so, and he's really figured out my game a lot. Where like he knows that he can't bring his body weight forward because I'm going to use my hips to elevate him and get sweeps going. So he stays really far back. So it's really hard to sweep him. But like what I've had the most success with is just is like going underneath for leg locks, which still is like not easy because he's super freaking strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's very hard to sweep him like normal. So like yeah, I think the leg, like going for leg locks helps so much, but you don't need to, you know, go for the leg lock itself. You can just use it to sweep and improve position.
Yeah. A lot of
That's
the time
another.
sorry.
No, I was going to say that's another reason I prefer the half guard butterfly is you can use that elevator to get in on legs, especially in no-gi where you can reap. If you do like leg locks, it is a very good guard from the bottom at getting into the legs.
Yeah, I agree. And like just because the knee shield itself again is more defensive because it's a frame. So like you only have so many options from the knee shield, and most of them involve taking your knee shield out so you can use your offense. So but with half guard butterfly, you're already in an offensive position, which is also defensive, because if you're like on your butt or just even on your back, your leg is still framing against them. Like the foot that is what's it called, the half guard butterfly foot, like that shin is still framing against them. So you have a frame and you have a hook, but when you're like in half guard knee shield, you only have a frame. So you know, but there's like pros and cons depending on your game and like your limb length and stuff like that, because some people have a really hard time inserting their butterfly hook, and either they have long legs or their hips are trapped. Like they don't either they don't understand or they're unable to move their hips out to make space to insert their butterfly hook. For me, I'm like flexible, I'm short legs, so it's usually pretty easy for me to put it in there. But yeah, for some people, yeah, definitely be harder for sure.
Yeah. So I use the leg lock game just to create a scramble sometimes, like you were saying. Yeah. I kind of have a little bit of reputation in the gym that I like to play with legs, right? So if I grab somebody's ankle, they'll almost immediately react, and that creates an opening for me to get out of a bad position. A lot of the times just touching their foot creates a giant reaction.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared of leg locks.
Yeah.
You know,
I used to be terrified of them, so scared of them that I remember I was drilling once with a guy, and the guy put me in the position to do a leg lock, and I screamed, and you said, did he crank it? And I said, no, he just touched it. I was terrified of them because everybody made it out to be such, you know, such a demon, you know, the leg locks when I started about, I don't know, 2019.
yeah, that's like, that's kind of you should have been there before. Even it was even more taboo, but yeah, it's definitely improved. But Joey, is it 1 week or 2 weeks since you've been open? I think 1 week, right? With your
Yeah,
gym?
like a week and a half.
Yeah, I saw on Instagram that you had like 17 people out for class last night. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, there were 18 of us on the mat last night, so it's been pretty good. I think that's pretty good growth for like a week and a half. I'm happy.
It is really good. That is. And
yeah, sorry, I just wanted to pull it back real quick to the leg lock thing. I found it interesting, Mike, that you said you use the leg locks to create scrambles. I find I use them for the opposite. I like using leg locks to like hold people in place. Especially like bigger, stronger, and more athletic people. I find like, and I know some people are going to fucking absolutely hate me in the comments for this one, but I love 50-50, especially against big guys. This is a position that I think we should definitely talk about. 50-50 is the most skill check position in jiu-jitsu because it is quite literally an equal guard for both people. So whoever's better at 50-50 should win from 50-50.
That's a good point. But I hate 50-50 personally. I just think it like slows down the roll so much. And that is the problem, that it is like kind of equal for both. So if the other one knows how to defend, and you know one knows how to defend good, or they both do, I guess, then it just becomes such a stalemate. So especially in the gi, like I hate being a 50-50 in the gi. I feel like when people put me in it, and I'm like having a hard time getting out, but nothing's happening either. I just feel like we just have like a gentleman's agreement to still like leave this position, get somewhere else. I remember, Joey used to always put me 50-50, and it would drive me crazy. It'd be like, I just want to be out of here. I just want to roll. I'm stuck like scissoring with you right now, you know, but
that's on purpose.
Yeah.
It just
slows me down for sure.
Well, yeah, you're stronger and faster than me. So anytime I have a chance to put you in a position where I can like neutralize those advantages and just try and make it a small tactics game is really like, for me, my best chance of success. And 50-50 is a position I put a lot of time in. I don't lose a lot of battles from 50-50. Sometimes I don't win them, but I very rarely lose from there. So for me, it's a position that if I can get to, I know like the worst case scenario here is that we're going to end up with a gentleman's agreement to just quit this position.
Exactly, because you can only scissor each other for so long, where it's like, especially if it's the beginning of the roll, it's like, fuck, you know, I'm gonna be here for a while, and I just want to try to take your back and stuff, and you know, just do whatever, not like, not scissor. But support for Talk-Jitsu is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code JTJ at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 14 million balls. So what's your experience been with Manscaped?
Well, I've used probably a half a dozen different name brand products before, and they're terrible. I've cut myself every time, and these are very expensive, very well named brand products. And with Manscaped, I've never cut myself.
Exactly. And you know what I like the most about the Manscaped razor is it has a flashlight on it. And you think
that's the best.
It's amazing. You think that, it's just this like, feature or whatever, but actually it's kind of like when you experience a light on your razor, it makes you wonder why no other ones have that too, because this is a game changer. You can just see everything so much easier, even if you don't have the perfect lighting. So that was my favorite aspect of it. I was actually shocked how much better it made too, because I was doing my neckline and everything. I was like, I can actually see where the line should be, right? Because there's a light. It's so simple and so smart. So I really like that from Manscaped.
100%. I thought, is this a gimmick? And then I tried it. I was like, no, this is the way. This is the only razor I've ever had that has a light on it, and it really lights the way to shaving your balls.
It does. It makes all the difference. I think a lot of other brands are maybe more towards like your hair or just your beard or something, right? But this is like the full package. So guys, JTJ at checkout, let's go. Yeah, like I agree with you there. I think it's people that are fast. I mean, it sounds obvious that you need to slow them down, and like that's the way to beat me. I think it's like, slow me down, don't let me transition, don't let me do scrambles and stuff like that. And that's what I have the hardest time time with is like people just doing a slow pace. Like I want it to be fast. But yeah, and it's like all these different styles of grappling require like different approaches. And yeah, that's why it's so fun to roll with different people.
That's why I love jujitsu. You never, it's like Forrest Gump. It's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Everybody's different. Everybody's got different styles. 3 guys come in or girls come in from another gym, and you know, you might learn something, you might get smoked, you might do well. You know, you never know what's going to happen. I love it.
Yeah, that's why I like when we get visitors. A lot of times on Saturdays we get visitors. That's why it's my favorite day.
I wish I could come.
Yeah, it sucks you can't because like, sorry, like one issue, and I guess it's not an issue, but one thing that kind of, I don't know, could make jiu-jitsu even more fun. It's like just training with more people more often, because like it does kind of, after a while, rolling with the same people every night, it's like it can kind of get stale sometimes, and it's just the truth. So it is nice getting visitors and going other places. And yeah, I really want to like, I want to go to more gyms and like, you know, and do more things. It's just hard when you have a family and you can't really go anywhere. Before, like back in the day, I would go to like every gym I could to train with different people. And, you know, because especially because the gyms I were at had like a smaller amount of members. So it's like, we're a pretty big gym. So there's lots of people to roll with. But like when you're like the, you know, the top dog, I guess, there's only so many other like guys that can really give you like a harder roll, right? But when you're like a lower belt, it's just, you have a plethora of people to roll with, because there's not going to be a huge skill discrepancy. And yeah, so that's one thing that that's the one thing kind of sucks, like, you know, being the top dog at the gym. You know, I don't mean that like cockily or anything like that, just I'm an instructor, you know. So like, yeah, I want to roll people more for sure. But yeah.
Have you had many other black belts come in from other gyms on Saturdays?
Yeah, we do get some black belts from other gyms for sure. And just, you know, other belts in general, brown belts and purple belts, everyone. And yeah, whenever I see like visitors and I hear they're a black belt or brown belt, I'm like, yes, you know, it's like this, I'm gonna have some fun. I'm not saying, oh, I'm gonna have some fun beating them up or anything, but like, no, I'm gonna have some fun because I have someone new to roll with that's skilled, right? Because if someone just like, you know, when people they first sign up or whatever, yeah, they're like a new person to roll with, but like they're so new and so low skilled, it's not really like anything that I haven't seen before or super exciting. So like, yeah, rolling black belt visitors is always like really fun.
I always like rolling with higher belts when they come in from another gym, because I know they're not going to just fuck me up or break something. Because if 3 white belts come in from another gym and they've only been doing it for 3 weeks, I don't know what I'm going to get. I might get like, I could get something broken or knocked out. You know, every time I've gotten hurt, it's because either my fault too when I first started, but it's been with another very low level white belt as myself.
Well, people think jiu-jitsu is like dangerous and stuff based off of the fact of what you're doing, of like, you know, trying to break each other's arms, like, you know, not actually, but like, you know, and that kind of stuff. But like in reality, the more skilled someone is at doing these things, the less dangerous they are. And the less they know of jiu-jitsu, the more dangerous they are. So it's like not really jiu-jitsu that can be dangerous. It's like the user, the person that's doing it. And yeah, it's usually because of a lack of skill or a lack of I guess priority of safety.
Every injury I've ever had in jiu-jitsu has nothing to do with the partner. It had to do with me turning the wrong way, hurting my own knee, you know, stuff like that. Nobody's ever cranked something too hard or, you know, overextended an arm or anything like that. It's always been just me fucking up basically, or, you know, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The majority of mine are the same. It's like me being dumb and screwing myself.
Yeah.
But Joey, like, yeah, back to your gym, like what kind of stuff are you teaching for like the first couple of weeks? Like, how do you kind of approach that? Like as a new gym, new people, and, you know, how do you dictate what's going to be the best kind of stuff for them and kind of balance different skill levels?
Yeah, so it's definitely a challenge, and I think what I've kind of decided I'm doing now is because I do have a lot of people that I have some people I've worked with before, but most of them are new to me. Some have trained before, some are brand new. So what we're kind of doing now is like a week on each position. So we started with like a closed guard, and then this week was an open guard. Next week will probably be a half guard, and then we'll reverse and do the passing for the 3, and then we'll work on the other positions. You know, 1 week top, 1 week bottom. Just at least once, so that I know everyone who's in there kind of has at the very least, a brief understanding of all the kind of positions so that when we're doing rolling or when new people come in and ask a question to maybe like their blue belt partner, at least I know the blue belt or a more senior white belt will have at least something from each position that they could give someone brand new, so that I don't have to spend the entire class basically holding the hand of a brand new person. I can go around from group to group and I know that the person's in good hands, like getting some at least guidance.
Yeah, I think that's really important to have like, some experienced people that can help out, because definitely that's a hard thing to manage. Like if you have a bunch of new people and you do have to kind of like babysit them almost, like you got to make sure that they're not hurting each other and that they know somewhat what they're doing. So yeah, that's one benefit of having like an established gym, is that like you have all those guys to pull from. But like as a newer gym, it's definitely it's definitely tougher for sure.
I got a
Well,
question for you, Joey.
Yeah.
Oh, have you had any flack from anybody in the community that maybe you allegedly worked for before?
Not that I know of yet, but I'm sure it's said behind closed doors. So I haven't heard
just
it.
wondering.
But Jordan, you said something like when you were talking earlier about like being the top dog at the gym. I thought that was really interesting, because I've found now opening like my own gym, obviously, like I don't have brown and black belts yet. I have one purple belt who actually just got his purple belt from me very recently. But other than that, it's just blues and white belts. And I do find it sometimes really difficult to work on your own development. I mean, I don't want people to think it sounds egotistical, and I know you probably feel the same way, but like it sometimes is hard when you don't have people who can really push you to those limits that you want, especially as a black belt. If you're thinking about competing or doing this stuff, it's hard when you don't have people who can make you have to really dig deep, put you in bad positions and threaten you. So when we do have like brown or black belts or really good purple belts come in, I definitely know what you were saying when you feel like it's really exciting, because you're like, yes, please, I need this.
Exactly. And I think it's not just important for like development, but it's also important just for like, just for having fun, like it only gets so fun just beating people up constantly. And, where like, I want to like be challenged more, because that's what's, I think, fun for lower belts and everyone, like, or most people, is that like they have more people to challenge them, because they don't have such a skill gap where, not that I have like, not that there's not some people that, at the gym that give me some challenge, but like, it's not like there's like when it's a class like 30 people, it's not like all 30 are going to be able to give me a real challenge. It might only be like, one or two or three. And it just, sometimes it can be hard to find the motivation, but to like kind of roll harder, or not harder, but like to, just because like when you just roll kind of like lighter, for me, I don't find that like super fun. Like I like, the challenge more, like I'm trying to get you, you're trying to get me. So like, yeah, I just, I need to travel more.
Do you ever have nights where if you're feeling like that, where you're in your head, you're saying, okay, I'm only going to go for triangles or I'm only going to go for XYZ of submission instead of getting the path of least resistance, make it a harder path to get?
Yeah, I guess sometimes I do that, but I think overall, when I'm just like not really feeling like, rolling hard, or like I just don't have anyone to really push me too much, I kind of just go like more like lazy, and just go more defensive and just like let them do things and whatnot. But and but then you have the problem too, like maybe someone like gets you and then they think they got you. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, I was just messing around. But if they want to think that, that's fine too.
I don't think there's anybody that has any illusions in the gym.
No, I don't think here. I don't think everyone here. But I heard someone told me that someone said to them, "Oh, they tapped me, back in the day or whatever," and they were white belt. I think it was a brown, and I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't think that happened. But like, if it did, I guarantee I was messing around, letting him work, stuff like that. Like, because the skill gap was just so, immense. Like, it would be no problem to smash the shit out of him, if I wanted to. So like, it was a weird thing hearing that. Like, but people, it makes them feel better about themselves. Oh, they tapped Jordan, years ago when he's messing around, but they don't know that, So like, yeah, I've told the story before too. Like, I had a guy, when I first opened my gym, he came to try a class. And at that time I was thinking, okay, just like let people work, let them kind of do some things or whatever. And then he was like telling people after, oh, he like beat me up and it was easy, all this stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna, I wish I could roll with you again, like, because I was, then I kind of learned like, you don't really know what people are thinking, so yeah, everyone at our gym now is like super chill and like understands that like if they get me, it's like I'm not like working super hard to stop them, just messing around. And I think black belts should be given that like freedom to just not always want to try super hard and kind of put themselves in bad positions, and they do. But like, yeah, I guess you could say it's like ego if you're like bothered by someone thinking that they got you, but you know like it's just reality, like it's just annoying.
Yeah, I like think what you want, but like, if I'm messing around and I let someone start on my back and they finish me with a choke, like it's cool for you to be like, yes, I finished him, but like you have to be aware that like, one, you didn't do the real hard part, which is getting my back, and two, don't go around telling people you did it, because like I know, like you said, like it feels like it's ego and all that, but also like, I don't know, don't spread stuff like that, because it creates rumors. And, like if you have, as a black belt, a bunch of blue belts going around, be like, oh, yeah, I tap this black belt all the time. If a new student's thinking is coming to your school, they might go, fuck, I hear that guy's blue belts tap him all the time. I don't want to go train with that guy. He sounds like he's shit. But like, yeah, you're tapping me because I'm letting you start on my back. Maybe I'm practicing like late stage choke defense where I should probably be tapping 90% of the time. That's like, yeah, you still got it. Good job for you, but don't brag about it if you do it.
Exactly. It's super lame to kiss and tell.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. You just maybe just letting someone work, like, you give them your back on purpose, or you're just like, just not rolling hard. You're just like, whatever, you'll get out of this, or whatever, I'll get out of this. And then all of a sudden you're kind of dig yourself down like a path where you're like, shit, I can't get out of this, but it's just like, it's good too, I guess, to, deal with these things mentally. And it didn't bother me a lot, but just like kind of like what, but yeah, it is what it is. Not a huge deal. But yeah, I have some cool news. Me and MMA Shredded, Jeff Chan, we're gonna host a camp in Vietnam, like a striking and jiu-jitsu camp. And yeah, it's gonna be, I think, October 28th to sometime in November. And it's gonna be a great time. So if anyone wants to come to Vietnam, yeah, they can come to the camp. It's gonna be awesome. And then what I plan to do too is like after the camp, I'm bringing Audrey and like my daughter and my wife Nikki, and we're gonna go to Thailand for a week after Vietnam. So it's gonna be sweet. We're gonna have like a little training trip in Vietnam, and then just a relaxation and training trip in Thailand. And I haven't been to Thailand in like 5 years, and I just love Thailand. Like if I could, I'd move there for like a year. And but the problem is I don't know if I could bring my dogs. So like that's like the biggest issue. But yeah, I would love to go for like a year. But yeah, I'm excited to go for a week there, a week Vietnam. And I want to get some tattoos while I'm there too, because in Phuket they got a lot of good tattoo artists. Like the guy that did my leg, I want to find him again, because he just like drew it on. He like I just like trust him basically, because he just like used a marker, and I couldn't even see like what it even was. Kind of like I just like I knew it was like a snake on my calf, but like I couldn't really tell by his like marker like what it was going to look like after. But then I remember when he was done, and now I was like, holy shit, this looks amazing. I was really happy with it, but I had to put extreme trust in this guy that barely even spoke English. I'm in Thailand and everything, but it worked out really good.
Would you get one of those tap ones in Thailand? You see all the Thai fighters have?
Yeah, I thought about doing that, but I almost feel like I'd be like almost like a poser almost. But like I do Muay Thai.
Yeah, you have a record, right?
Yeah, I got
unbeaten.
Yeah, I got 2 Muay Thai fights, undefeated in Muay Thai, 2 TKOs. But both those fights I wasn't fighting very technically. I just brawled. But I was way more inexperienced back then. But yeah, I almost feel like I'd be a poser. But I know I've been training Muay Thai like 6 years now, and I like those tattoos. So like, I just got to get out of my head, because I think it would be kind of cool to get like a one of those. What are they called?
Oh, they just call it traditional tattooing. Yeah,
it'd be cool to get like a back piece done like that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just excited for it in general. Yeah, this episode is brought to you by Minimal Snacks. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
So Minimal Snacks, it's like a beef jerky company basically, and it's just a good source of protein. And I know you've tried it already, and so have I.
It's great. It's good for a keto diet if you're on a low carb diet as well. It's very moist. It's not like your regular beef jerky where it takes you 6 years to chew through it. And anybody that listens to this podcast know that most of my teeth are fake. It's hard to even chew any meat. This is great.
Yeah, that's the best part for sure. It's actually moist. It's actually easy to chew. Because like you said, some beef jerky is just like a jaw workout.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't want to work on my jaw when I'm eating beef jerky. How would you describe the taste?
Oh, man. A little bit sweet, salty. It's nice. It's not too heavy salt. It's not too sweet. It's perfect. I'm not just saying this because they sponsor us. Like, I would buy this and eat it every day. I love this. I ate 3 packages the other day.
And there's only very few ingredients. It's just beef, red wine vinegar, shiitake extract, and salt. So the less ingredients, the better. Especially there's no chemicals involved.
So go to minimalsnacks.com and enter Talk-Jitsu 20 to get your discount on some of the best stuff I've ever had.
Yeah, another cool thing too, the Jiu-Jitsu theory course is coming out soon, and it's going to come out Monday. And I've been working on it so long, but you know, I wish I was like more, I guess, ahead of my on schedule, I guess you could say, because a lot of it's done, but we got to finish up a lot of it today. We got to finish like the on the mat portion of it. So it's going to be like a race against the clock to finish. And I got a really long weekend ahead of me of like just working on it the whole time, just making sure it gets done by Monday.
Is that just your course, or is that in collaboration with anybody else?
No, it's just my course. Yeah. But I mean, Kieran helped me out with it, and he's getting like a cut of the sales. You know, he came out to Australia and everything. I'm from Australia, and it was big. It was really helpful having him. And I paid for his flights, and he stayed at the gym, and he's getting a cut of it. So he's helping a lot with the marketing, and kind of like he helped a lot with like formulating the structure, which I had a hard time with. So yeah, it's really it's always helpful to have like help.
Yeah. And to go back to the actually first thing we talked about was like Nikki's role. Anybody who's ever rolled Nikki knows she's a fucking beast. Like she can fuck 99% of the guys up. You know what I mean? Like I have to go as hard as I can just to survive with Nikki.
Yeah, I'd say
very technical.
Yeah, I would say she beats up like the majority of blue belts, that she rolls with that aren't too much bigger. You know, someone that's like 170 pounds or so, that's kind of like the upper limit when it starts getting probably harder for her. But like she's really good. And but like the thing is too, and I don't mean this in a negative way, like Kieran is very technical, but at the same time, it takes time to develop an understanding and know-how of how to roll technical only and not using strength and other attributes. Like, you know, it's very hard. Like, it's not about just like giving up position, giving up sweeps and passes to like a smaller training partner. It's like more so like just not trying to use like minimal strength and physical attributes, you know, and flowing, you know, because I can roll like this. And we talked about it before, like Tanya at the gym, she's like 110 pounds, maybe even 100 pounds now.
Probably 100. Yeah.
Yeah. And like when I roll with her, I got to work really hard. Like it's a hard fought battle because I make sure not to use my physical attributes. Like I make sure to always be flowing, moving, and, going technique for technique. And it's actually harder. Like it's way harder than just like actually using my strength and everything like that. But like it takes time to develop that understanding of how to only use technique. And, Kieran just doesn't have that yet. And that's not a bad thing, or it's not like a slight against him. He's just like, he's a blue belt, but he's a good blue belt, but he hasn't really learned that yet. So it took me a while too. I mean, like it took me like Nikki complaining about like, oh, you just smashed me the whole time or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to roll with you then because you just complain. And this is how I roll or whatever. But then I'm like, okay, maybe she's onto something, maybe like she's right. I could like open up more. I don't want to say open up more because there's two ways to kind of beat someone up. There's or a smaller person. You can beat them up by using strength and size and stuff like that. Or you can beat them up and going technique for technique. And like, that's what I do now. And now she only complains about like, getting tapped multiple times, but not about me actually using my like, my physical advantages. And it's got to be a boring role for someone smaller that's just using their physical advantages so much. And Kieran didn't only use, he didn't like, only use like strength and size. Like he definitely dialed it back, but like there's still a difference between like rolling pure technical and kind of just like dialing it back. But again, it's like, it just takes time to develop. It took me a long time.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near there yet.
Yeah.
It's tricky
Well,
to do. Like I've had many rounds with Nikki where, I'm not that much bigger than her when I'm in shape. When I'm in shape, I'm usually like 150 pounds. So I don't know what Nikki weighs these days, but I don't think I'm more than like 20 pounds heavier than her.
yeah, she's
But
like 130.
yeah, so somewhere around 20. But there are definitely rounds where like I'm trying to just match technique and go fast, and I have to be like, I know I've said it multiple times, like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm gonna squash you for a second because I'm getting real tired and you're really quick and technical, and I just need to hold you still for a minute. Then we can get back to having some scrambly fun. But like it definitely is a skill to learning how to roll without using the physical advantages. And I find it's very rare that blue belts tend to have that skill. That tends to come a little later on, I think. And not that there are no blue belts who can do it, but I think most commonly you see that in the higher belts. Or the one big exception I found is blue belts who tend to have like a spouse or a daughter who trains too. Like, I don't know if they want me to shout out their name, but there's a father and daughter who train at Limitless in Trenton.
Barry and
Um,
Mallory, they would
yeah,
love if you
I
shout
don't
out
know
their
if
name.
he'd want me to shout about it
Yes,
or
he
use his
would.
name. Barry is the absolute best blue belt I have ever seen at rolling with small females without using strength and power or anything like that. But I think that's just because he's been training with Mallory since day one and he's used to that. He's got the feedback like you got from Nikki early on telling you like, hey, too much strength, too much size, tone it back.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of demonstrate what we kind of mean by this. So like we use kind of an example. So just like a smaller person takes like an underhook on you from like half guard. I mean, if you're bigger than them, you could just smash the shit out of them. Or maybe you backstep instead, or you like do like I don't know, like maybe a front roll or something like that. Like you do a technique to counter rather than just like size and strength to counter, right? Just like crushing people down. Because yeah, you're going technique for technique. It's like they got this. I'm going to address this with technique, not using size and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have that problem a lot. That's why I have that 40-pound cutoff, because most of the guys that are over 40 pounds, it doesn't matter what I do. They just lean some weight on me and I'm fucked. They just crush me.
Yeah. I feel like now I'm a little smaller. Like I'm 180 again. And I got up to like 195. Like I was 195 for like almost like a year. And I definitely feel smaller and weaker. And I got to get my strength back for sure. It's like, I don't know. It's not too bad, but like I find it definitely makes rolling bigger people harder. And yeah, it's like strength matters so much. Like
100%.
yeah, it's so strange that, again, people think jiu-jitsu is so magic. And I think that maybe sometimes I've almost like contributed to that belief just because I have like a lot of YouTube videos rolling with people that are big and still like, dominating. But like, when the skill difference is a lot, like is vast, and then, it can make up for such a size difference, but it has to be a big skill difference. If it's close, those pounds are going to matter a lot.
I think that's how it was marketed back in the day. It was for the little person to beat the big person. Jiu-jitsu was it not?
Yeah, but those guys, like, I mean, the Gracies and all them, they were like the only ones that knew jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
So like the skill gap was so high. So like you could definitely just beat the shit out of big people and it'd be like no problem because they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that was before MMA became popular. So most
Yeah,
people
for
didn't
sure.
even really have any semblance of understanding of what grappling was. I mean, the early like Gracie challenge videos where these guys would just like go to a karate school and then beat up a bunch of dudes who've been doing karate and be like, look, jiu-jitsu works. It's like, yeah, well, they have no idea what you're doing. You're just beating up random people for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White belts, beating up white belts. Yeah.
I mean, even in the same weight divisions, even if the weight is the same, sometimes there can be such a strength discrepancy, and it can really matter in the matches. Like I've went before, like as a lower belts, like before I was going in the 185 division, and there were some guys that were fucking like just jacked, just so strong. And, I still won and everything, but it was such a hard battle. It's like, holy shit, there's a big not size difference, big strength difference here. So I think if anyone's listening and is lacking strength, then, you definitely got to start lifting for sure. Once I'm not as busy, I really want to hit the weights way more.
Same here. I want to start lifting weights. I haven't lifted weights in a couple of years now.
I feel like everyone says they want to start lifting weights, but then, it's not like, oh, I am lifting weights. It's like, I want to start, but I'm sure, Joe, you're in the same boat. You probably want to start, or do you, or like, now that you do jiu-jitsu for a living, you must have more free time to do those kind of things.
I've actually been doing more like weightlifting and like fitness stuff than I've ever done, but not to build strength, just because my shoulder's so messed up. I'm doing the physio for it. So it's a lot of like one shoulder exercises and mobility stuff with like a little bit of weight just to build back the strength in that shoulder. And I was looking in the mirror the other day, and my one shoulder is way more muscular than the other shoulder now. The injured one is, because I've been doing all this physio on one side. And I was like, man, I might have to start doing my physio for my healthy shoulder just so that I don't look like a weirdo.
Yeah, it would keep it healthier longer, right? Because maybe you don't want that one to become your bad one too.
Yeah, man, if there's like, I've had my share of injuries, but I'll definitely say shoulder injuries are the worst for people who are coming up through the belts. Definitely do some weightlifting, do some exercise. Even if you don't want to lift heavy weights, do something to build the strength in those joints so that they don't get injured, because when they do, man, it's awful.
Yeah.
We have a kid at the class that was at a tournament and he hurt his shoulder, and he still took second place. He beat the next guy after he couldn't continue from the first match. But so he did really well, but he's rehabbing it properly. I see him asking people advice, and he's using the bands to rehab it, and he's lifting weights, and he's strengthening it again. So he's doing it all properly, and he's just like 14 years old. He's a phenom though, man. He's going to be a killer when he's 16.
Yeah, I mean, he's smarter than I was as a lower belt. He just get hurt and just keep rolling.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
But yeah, no, he's really responsible that way, and just one of those guys. Yeah, he's definitely going to be like a killer. He already is. He's a hard roll now. Like,
he is.
If I want like a hard, like a hard fast roll, then I'll go with Owen. He's really good.
Yeah, he's got cardio for days. The guy does not get tired.
Yeah, it must be nice. Like, we talked about strength being important, but like cardio is king. So, because you can if you can make someone tired that's stronger than you, well, now their strength isn't an advantage, but you can't make someone tired that has good cardio. And cardio is like number one. But it's also the hardest one to train, because it's the hardest one to do and the least like fun. I've been doing like the Airdyne bike, like Tabatas on it. And every time I just hate it the whole time. But I don't really mind so much like lifting. It's kind of feels good. It's kind of fun. And to a certain extent, it's not like the most fun thing, but I'd do that any day over Airdyne bike.
Doesn't your cardio have a lot to do with your genetics as well? Because I had my genetics looked at, and they said that I have the sprinter gene, I have a fast recovery gene, and I do not have the distance runner gene.
Yeah, it can definitely impact you, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily need to limit you either. Like someone that doesn't naturally have great cardio, he just had to put in the work to get good cardio, and someone that doesn't naturally have a lot of strength, they just had to put in the work to get the strength. I think that naturally I can build muscle really easy, but I don't have great cardio naturally. It's like something I need to work on to obtain it. But it's better than not having either one naturally, for sure.
Yeah, I would guess more people are limited when it comes to strength or cardio by the effort they put into working on those than they are by their genetics.
Yeah, I think most people for sure. Genetics just kind of help, but nothing replaces hard work. Like hard work is the most important thing. And when I do start getting back into competing, because I'm sure I will, either MMA or jiu-jitsu, cardio is going to be my number one way to prepare, because that's going to prepare me the most mentally too. Because though my worst fear always, and anyone's with poor natural cardio, is gassing out. Gassing out is the worst thing that can happen. Nothing feels worse in a jiu-jitsu match of I've got no energy left, but they do. And there's time left on the clock still. But what's even worse is feeling that way in MMA, because the consequences are so much worse. You get tired of shit, and then the other person's not tired. They're going to start trying to take your head off, and you can do nothing about it. It's it can really affect your confidence. And I've went into fights just so worried that I'm going to gas out, and it just kind of messed with my head. But you know, the adrenaline too is so much worse with an MMA fight. But yeah, I've been offered like I always get offered MMA fights, like pro ones, and but I got offered one in July that I'm thinking about, but we'll kind of see. I also got offered an influencer jiu-jitsu match against another influencer. So yeah,
Really?
Can you tell us who?
yeah, no, because they don't know who yet. It's just like it's kind of like preliminary still, but like
Uh,
it's in San Diego, and which I think is really cool. So I assume they're gonna, like they said, it's paid. So I assume they're gonna pay for my flights too and everything. And like I'm not gonna turn that down. Well, as long as I don't have anything going on, but I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. It's in July, but yeah, I would love to see San Diego. But yeah, I hope someone like someone like, I don't want to say it makes it sound rude, but like interesting, like almost. I hope it's like a really bigger influencer, almost what I'm trying to say, or whatever. But there's not really a lot of like, black belt influencers out there. There's like, black belt YouTubers, but like, I don't know, like I've already rolled with Chewy, and like there's other ones for sure, but I don't know how you kind of like differentiate like influencer just from like I don't know, a YouTuber almost.
I'm trying to think of who is around your size, because I imagine they would keep it around the same size. You're a buck 85, you said now?
Yeah, I'm 180 right now.
180?
Like, well, I had in my mind, like, no, like I was trying to think of like who, like, and there's interesting people to do, but the problem is that most of them aren't black belts, which makes it just like, it doesn't make sense to do. Like, for example, I was thinking, okay, who does jujitsu that's like popular, who's an influencer? One guy, Finn McKinsey, he has Punk Rock MBA. He's a YouTube channel, and I really like his channel. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's like a purple belt, so it wouldn't make sense to do, but it would be really cool to do that with him, and not like a competitive way of like, oh, I want to kick his ass. More like, I like his channel, and it'd be really fun to do it with someone with that many subscribers. I think he's got like 400,000 subscribers, and yeah, but like, or I was thinking too, oh, well, Russell Brand does jiu-jitsu, not that he want to do it, but he's just a purple belt too, right? So it's
what if
kind of
they
hard
gave you
to.
like a popular like black belt competitor or something like
That could
that?
be
Like
cool too.
here's a guy who competes in your weight class, maybe not like the social media following or like Instagram, but he's very popular for like, maybe someone who's done like an ADCC or something like that, that
Like an
has
Andrew
fans.
Wiltsey? Like an Andrew
Yeah.
Wiltsey kind of guy?
Something like that. Someone who's popular, but not
Yeah,
from like the same way.
no, I'm definitely interested in that. But like, I also told them like I'd also be interested in boxing, because I think that they like the guy that did it. He does these like, or the guy that messaged me, he does these like influencer boxing matches too. He's an influencer. He's got a lot of subscribers on YouTube. I think like 2 million. And I would love to do boxing too. Like I would, yeah, I think doing it against a competitor would be cool, but like doing it against I don't know, like a really popular influencer would be almost like even cooler to me. But it's just hard to find one with a similar skill set, right? But so that's why, okay, I would do boxing, but same thing. I've done Muay Thai so long, it's like it'd be hard to find someone that's a fair fight for me too. But like, these like influencer like boxing matches can like pay a lot of money,
Yeah. I watched the first one they did. Is it the same guy that does those ones? Like the one with Dr. Mike was on it and stuff like that?
I'm not sure. I think it might be, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I doing stuff is like good. Like, it's fun doing these kind of things, but I want to get paid, like
Yeah.
that's something. It's like, I do the YouTube channel because I enjoy it and stuff like that. But, making money is still very important. I have a family. And so like, boxing would be really cool, because like, it's not like I want to become the best boxer in the world and like anything like that. But if I could, fight some other influencers and get paid like some good money, even if it's like $5,000 or like 10 grand, not that that's like small, but like, that's like pretty good, because the problem is with like, if I were to fight MMA, which I plan to, I only make like $1,000, and then like the medicals cost over $1,000, right? So it's like, what is really the benefit of me doing it? I want to get paid, So yeah.
Well, the benefit now could be the exposure. So if they pay for your flight and they pay for your, all that other stuff, and millions of people watch it, you could get, a lot more subscribers, more merch, stuff like that. It could come in on the back end.
Yeah, like I'm not big enough to pull in like millions of viewers, though. This is the thing. So like, that's why I would like it for it to be someone more popular than me. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah, like that could.
I got the perfect guy in
up.
mind. If we want to do a jiu-jitsu match for some money, Rener Gracie. Let's do
Oh
it.
yeah, I would love that.
I-
That would be, that would get me fired up. That would get me like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, yes, I would definitely do that.
Because has he ever competed or anything? Or
I don't think
I
so.
think he used to.
did he? I think he used. I think they
I
used
think
to
back in the day,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I think that'd be a really good match too. I think people really find it exciting, and I would definitely do that. Maybe
Yeah, I'd love to watch that.
maybe we could do that one, jiu-jitsu and a boxing match.
Yeah.
That'd be fun too. So yeah,
Well,
that's the thing. Yeah, sorry,
He
go
seems
on.
to like he seems to like making money, so he might be open to the idea.
Yeah, it might not be enough money though, is the thing, right? Because I don't know what they're gonna pay. Like, I hope it's not just like, you know, oh, we'll pay for your flights and give you like $1,000. Like, yeah, maybe I'll do it because, you know, I'll get a nice trip out of it. But yeah, again, I just want to make money, you know, like I don't just want to make money, but
Yeah.
I do want to make money. So yeah. I
Well,
don't know.
all this shit isn't free. Like people don't see behind the scenes. Like even to do this podcast, it's a lot of money for the equipment. Like people don't. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've spent so much freaking money on equipment because yeah, people are like, oh, your production quality is so good and everything like that. Well, I buy the best equipment, and it's not because I have all this money to do it with. It's more like I invest back into the business constantly because I know that it's worth it to make more money. And yeah, you know, my goal, like from like day one of like, I guess my life, I want to become a millionaire. That's like something that's really important to me. And, you know, it's a tough thing to do only owning a gym. So it's probably not even possible in general. Well, I guess it is like, but like, it's just a tougher task. But, you know, that's why even like the YouTube channel itself, it's like hard to become a millionaire doing that. And, you know, I'm doing my best to get there one day, but like, what I want to do is just build up my brand and my platform as much as possible and just figure out ways to use that to make more money because yeah, I got a family and I don't know, I just always want to be a millionaire. It's always like a big motivation for me because, you know, when I was a kid, like I always thought like I'm going to be wealthy, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to do all this stuff. But then when I got like older, when I got to like 20, and I still had that mentality, but I was like, I kind of came to the realization, it's like, shit, no one's just going to hand this to me. You know what I mean? I'm not entitled to getting what I want. I need to go out there and make it happen. So yeah, I don't think it's like weird to say that I'm motivated by money. Like, it's not exclusively money. I love helping people and teaching people, but like, I also want to make money. You know, there's a lot of reasons why I enjoy doing this. So yeah, I would love to do a boxing match against like a celebrity. I would love to do a jiu-jitsu match against Rener Gracie. That'd be freaking sick. But yeah, we'll see what happens there for sure. But maybe I'll take an MMA fight. I'm not too sure. I don't know.
An MMA fight against another influencer, or just
No,
in general, like a
just
pro
in
MMA
general.
fight? Okay.
Yeah, just a pro MMA fight because I was like, I started jiu-jitsu because I wanted to be a pro MMA fighter. I wanted to get to the UFC and all this stuff. I had these aspirations because I thought that was my like best path to becoming a millionaire. So it was never like, you know, I want to fight MMA because I enjoy doing this. Of like, I enjoy training. I love training. I don't enjoy competing at all. So like, I want to make money from competing if I'm going to do it, because if it's not something I want to do in the first place, right? Like I want to get paid for it. Yeah. So yeah. And because another thing about the MMA thing is like a lot of promotions offer me fights, but they all offer me, you know, the same amount of money, just like barely any money. But like, if you have a pay-per-view, I think people will buy it. And if they do, I deserve more money. I don't think it's like entitlement or anything like that. It's just like, I don't want to put my brain health on the line for negative money. You know what I mean? Because the medicals cost so much too. Like that doesn't make any sense. I'll put my brain health on the line for, you know, being able to take my family on a vacation or something like that. So, yeah.
So you're allowed to have a purse fight in MMA, but not in jiu-jitsu. Is that correct? In Ontario?
No, yeah. Well, you can't fight for money in MMA in Ontario like you can. It would be amateur MMA. Right, then pro would be you get paid, but for jiu-jitsu, you can't give money because it's amateur, right? If it would be pro jiu-jitsu, then it'd be like through the commission and stuff like that. So yeah, they can't pay amateur athletes. But the thing is, people do it anyways. Yeah, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but like that definitely happens. Like, you know, after like a super fight in the past, I've been handed like an envelope of $100 or whatever, but like, you know, $100 isn't really that much, to, you got to drive there and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and it just kind of covers your gas. So, but at the same time, it's not like I was like a main event, like huge draw when I was like a blue belt or a purple belt doing super fights. So it makes sense to, it makes sense not to get paid a lot, but yeah, I mean, money makes the world go round. So,
Man, you picked a rough sport if you want to be a millionaire.
I know
Jiu-Jitsu is a hard way to do it.
I know. Yeah. Like that's the thing, but I kind of screwed myself in the sense that that's like my best skill of like teaching jujitsu and doing jujitsu. Like, my content creation is getting better and better. So like, I think that just, understanding of branding and stuff like that will help me a lot in the future, to figure out how to make that million. But yeah, it's my life goal. So yeah,
Well, it helps that you have a super successful gym. Like having that, like that does, it's not going to, I don't think anyone's becoming a millionaire off of a gym, but if they are, I'd love some tips. But like it does help that you have that, and like the massive social media presence and like creator presence that you have. Like if anyone's suited to do it in jiu-jitsu without being like an ADCC champ, it's you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And, it's like, I don't know, you can become a millionaire, as a gym owner, because like a black belt gym, what like the industry kind of calls it, like a black belt gym is like you make $30,000 gross per month. So like that's pretty significant. And then, but even that is still hard to become a millionaire because you have so much expenses, but then you have to, use that money to invest, and, which is a completely separate skill in its own. But, unless you just like, get index funds and stuff like that. So, even if I can't make $1 million from like what I'm doing, I at least want to make enough money to be able to use that money to make that $1 million. So that's kind of like I don't know, the thing to figure out. So yeah, I'm always trying to figure that out.
Isn't it funny that it took a pandemic though? Would you have done this if the pandemic didn't happen?
I think so, only because I wanted to have a YouTube channel for like so long, but I never knew what I was going to do it on, because like before I was a black belt, I was like, okay, I can't do it, until I'm a black belt. And then, when I was a black belt, I was like, or when I got my black belt and after, I was like, well, there's already so many content creators, so many jiu-jitsu instructors out there. It's gonna be impossible to, be noticed by anyone. But then, someone told me, my friend Greg King, we were talking about it, and he was telling me like, it doesn't matter. It's just people, they'll want your style or your way of teaching, or like your personality, like that kind of stuff. I was saying, oh yeah, that's actually true. Like, there's some great teachers out there, but people resonate with certain people over others and whatever. So like, I figured, okay, I can find my own niche and like people that want and enjoy my teaching. So I think I would have, but definitely the pandemic gave me like the start to do it, because yeah, it was like super scary. And because like it was a third shutdown, I'm like losing tons of money, and it just like things were getting pretty rocky. And then I was like, well, I need to be able to make money online.
Yeah. And
yeah. And then I started the YouTube channel, and it wasn't doing well. So then I spent $10,000 on equipment, went all in. I'm like, it's like burning the ships, right? Talk about it before. And like, you don't want to fail after spending $10,000 on cameras and a laptop and stuff like that. You're just driven to succeed. And yeah, I like that all in mentality. I need to go all in on everything. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Look where it got you.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well now.
Yeah.
Hard to complain, going to Vietnam and like going to San Diego and stuff like that. And, the main driver of this is just like self-belief. I think that's the most important thing. It's like you need to believe in yourself. And even if other people don't, screw them and just keep on going, even if their words kind of hurt your feelings, right? Like, because obviously I've talked about it many times, sometimes people fucking piss me off with what they say, but actually this is like, because this is one thing I want to talk about too, briefly before we end this. Someone has a YouTube, well, yeah, there's a guy with a YouTube channel. I watched one of his roles, and he did a great job with the commentary, and I wrote great commentary. And then in his next video, he was talking about how much that comment really motivated him and made him feel good, because he was kind of questioning himself, like how he would, like, what's the point of doing this, kind of like he's not getting a lot of views and stuff like that. And he said, like, that encouragement, it really meant a lot to him and really motivated him to make the next video. And he was saying how impactful words can be. And it's 100% true. Like, they can be so impactful negatively, or they can be very impactful positively. So like people should really take more value or more like care of what they say to other people, you know, like, because it can't be, you can really like just destroy someone with your words, or you can say something that's going to just motivate the shit out of them. And having that power and using it negatively is such a bullshit thing to do. Like, for example, there's this guy on my TikTok, and just in general, the vertical videos I do get the most amount of dumb comments. Like, you know, they just like my normal YouTube videos barely ever get hate, but like the verticals, people will which is like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube shorts, people are like crazy, the stuff they say. Like people trying to tell me that stacking doesn't work to defend triangles and stuff like that. And it's like, you're crazy. But yeah, like, yeah, this guy who's like saying on TikTok, he was just kind of like trolling me, I guess. And I'm like, yeah, and he's like, I'm just joking around, or I'm just like busting your balls or whatever. But like, why even do that? You know what I mean? Why be rude to other content creators, especially when he's a black belt? It's like, why would you want to, you know, your words do have value. So like, why be rude to other people? You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it just like two separate things happened. He pissed me off, but like not like a huge amount. I was fine, but like, you know, it's just like kind of mind boggling to me. Like why try to bust my balls? And there's all these like lower belts, you know, questioning technique and saying stupid things. You know what I mean? I'm already getting like stupid comments from other people, not like a ton, but like, more than what I find not annoying. So, you know, why do that? You know, and why, when you can just be positive and you can affect someone so much more positively, right? So,
yeah, I think I said on the podcast before, I used to troll a couple different websites, and it really bothered me that it bothered this lady so much. It really made me, I never do it. I apologized to her, emailed her, said I was sorry, because I didn't know it bothered her that much. It like ruined her fucking day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a couple other content creators I've talked to recently have been like, they posted some videos that got some hate, and they were showing me and stuff. And I'm like, you know, like, don't worry about it. This is like a day in my life. And like, but they've told me before not to worry about comments and stuff. So it's really easy to see from the outside and be like, why would that bother you? Right. Or like Nikki too, for example, it didn't bother her a lot, but I'm like, just telling her like, you know, this is like the stuff people do, and I can see from the outside, but like, people just expect content creators just to be completely immune to criticism. And if they do respond to criticism, either like it hurts their feelings or they lash out as if they're like weak or something like that. But like, if you put yourself out there and people question you and or pick apart what you're saying and stuff like that, it's just, it's hard to deal with. But again, I'm not going to talk about negative comments, I promise you guys, because I know I complain all the time, but I'm doing way better with it. We're just talking about this. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I started talking about it. But yeah, anyways, so I think that that's it for today. It's been over an hour, and yeah, if you're still here, please leave a comment or a fist bump. We always appreciate viewer interaction and talking to everyone. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time.